Hey guys, it is good to be talking to you all again. As you all know, I had a really crazy end of my week and my weekend. Um, just to give you all a little bit of information, because I know you're probably curious, everything is okay. I smelled the smoke in my apartment before a fire really got started. So the damage is really more smoke damage and a furnace that needed to be replaced. And although I was not able to live in my apartment for a few days until they replaced, what was destroyed, I'm now back in my home and I'm okay. And Lori, the cat, is okay, and the neighbors are okay. So it's all fine. It's just little bumps in the road of everyday life. We just got to go with the flow and figure things out as they happen. And that's just fine. But as for us, we do have some new shenanigans of our own, which is there's this snowy weather coming in. And that means that I'm going to be instructing you on your next lesson on Greek mythology digitally. And it's really exciting because we have read the Greek mythology plays that I am planning on doing with you all. And now it is time for you to demonstrate to me what you have learned. So for the first myths that we studied, which were about the big three, we did Kronos versus his children. We did how Athens got its name. We got the creation of the horse, and we had the stories of Hades and Persephone. And you all demonstrated your understanding to me by doing a play. But for the second set of myths, which is about the children of the gods, and then just some figures of myth like Pandora and Prometheus, I have a totally different way I want you all to show what you know. And it is going to be so much fun. We're actually going to be creating animated films, little short ones, using a program called My Simple Show. And I'm going to show you it today. We're going to watch a couple of examples, and I'm going to teach you how to use this program. And if you watch my tutorial carefully, and if you're willing to play with it and figure things out for yourself, I think you're going to have a really cool project to present to us on class the next time that we meet, because this is going to be due the next time that we meet. This isn't a project like that takes you a week to do. This is a project that you should be able to accomplish between today, when it is assigned, and the next time we meet, which I am really hoping is going to be Thursday, which means that this project is due by tomorrow night at midnight, okay, Wednesday at midnight, so that on Thursday, assuming that we meet on Thursday, you will be ready for presenting it to the class, and we're going to watch all those together, okay? So let's get right into the tutorial, and I'll explain to you what My Simple Show is and how it works, so that you'll be able to go crazy and, be really creative today, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and this is My Simple Show. You can see how to type it in here. All of this information will also be available on Google Classroom, mysimpleshow.com. And since some of you all are not yet 13, the way that I am going to do this is you all are all going to use my login, and that will actually make it really easy to present as well. So you're going to go over here to log in and click. And then you are going to enter my email address, which is jsimpson@whitfield.org. Again, information that will be available on Google Classroom as well. And then you're going to put in the password. This password is Simpson with a capital S _ and then our grade, which is 7. So if that's super clear to you, you should be able to hop on it right now as we talk about it. If it's not, then you'll be able to read the instructions more carefully, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click login here, and it's going to take us to, it looks a lot to me like the dashboard on our Google Docs. You can see here that any videos that currently exist, we can see down here, and then ones that don't yet exist, obviously we cannot. Oh, looks like somebody already got started. They can't do that. Let's delete that project. Okay, so you are going to choose one of the new myths that we have studied, which is going to be You can do, let's see, we did Athena. So you can do Athena's birth or her battle with Arachne. You can do the story of Hephaestus and how he was born. You can do Pandora's box, or you can do the story of Prometheus. And that list again on Google Classroom. So pick one of those myths, and then you're going to create a My Simple Show. And the first thing I want to do is show you an example of My Simple Show so that you will know what it will look like when it's done. And then I'll explain to you how it's created, okay? So this is the one that I made, and that's the one I'm going to show you all as the example. And you can see here that I chose to do Kronos versus his children. Now, that is not an option you have. You have already gone past the big three myths and you're doing some new myths, but I chose this because I didn't want you all to be influenced too much by my choices, okay? So let's go ahead and watch the My Simple Show and you will see how it is done. So I'm going to push play here and let's watch it. All right, so this is basically how it is done. You write a story based on the myth. It's kind of your own version of that story. And you're going to try to include as much from the real myth as you can. Although you can feel free to interpret it, to include dialogue, to modernize it. I've had some students create some very funny pieces by just sort of reimagining or reinterpreting the myth, you know, as they wished. And you are free to do that. Mine was more of an exact retelling, and I just kind of made it more creative by the images that I chose. But there is flexibility here. And so let me show you how this actually happens, because it may seem like, oh, how did you do that, Ms. Simpson? But the program makes it possible. So let's create a new video here. So I'm going to name my project. Why don't I do Hades and Persephone, which is another one that you all cannot choose to do because you have already gone through that one. And I'm going to write my own script. That's what I'm going to choose. Okay, now it's going to give you some templates here, but you don't need a template. We're going to use the blank template. And it basically gives you 3 sections. You have the title screen, the story, and the end screen. And that's it. These are just the 3 sections you look at. So for my title, it says start your video with a snappy title. So I'm going to say the most romantic story in all of Greek literature, or I'll do Greek mythology. How about that? And then I'll do a semicolon and I'll go Hades and Persephone. So there you go. That's going to be the title of my story. So I'm going to go down here and talk about the story. Now, this is going to be your longest section. You're basically going to write out the whole story of your myth, and all of that you write is then going to be translated by My Simple Show into those different slides with images. So it has to be, you know, the whole story. Okay, so let me give you an example of how you might start. I might say, once upon a time, there was a goddess named Demeter, because that's how the story really starts, right, with Demeter. Demeter was goddess of the harvest, and she had a beautiful daughter named Persephone. Persephone's, we'll just go jump into the story. One day, Persephone was painting flowers alone when she saw an unusual bush with waxy leaves and berries like drops of blood, right? She pulled the bush from, I tell you what, I'm going to add some dialogue. I don't think I like that bush, said Persephone. And she yanked it from the ground. The bush revealed a huge hole. And out of that hole emerged Hades, god of the underworld, who snatched Persephone up into his arms and carried her away into the deep darkness. Now, I would continue writing this story because the story is not done yet, obviously, but let's just leave it at that for now. I think that's enough for me to demonstrate to you kind of what to do. Let's go on now to the end screen. So the end screen, guys, is just going to be sort of like what your final sentence, how you're going to sum it up. So when I did Kronos versus his children, I think I did something like, and that's how the gods took power over the earth and deposed their father Uranus. But another great way to do it is to do the moral of the story, right? Or so this one, if you think about the story of Hades and Persephone, it's really about the seasons, why we have seasons. So I might say something like, so this is why we have 6 months of summer and 6 months of winter. And I could also do a moral. The moral of the story is, do not take reckless revenge on innocents. Because if you'll remember, that's something that Demeter did to the little boy. She turned him into a lizard and he died. And as a result, you know, of that punishment, how about we say, is do not met out unjust punishments, or it may come back on you as it did on Demeter. Or as Demeter's unjust punishment of the little boy came back on. So there you go. I've got a little moral of the story. So I'm done, assuming that I had finished the story, which of course I didn't. So now I'm going to click choose visuals, and it's going to take what I have written and it's going to translate it into a first draft of the animated video. And it's not going to be perfect. They're going to have made some weird choices, but I'm going to be able to edit those choices and make them more what I actually want. So you can see here that it's kind of spread out my story onto these slides. And everywhere that you see this blue, that is where they have inserted an image of what they think would fit in that image. So let's go ahead and take a look at what they came up with already without me making any edits.
The most romantic story in all of Greek mythology, Hades and Persephone.
You can see how it had that
Once
repetition.
upon a time, there was a goddess named Demeter. Demeter was goddess of the harvest, and she had a beautiful daughter named Persephone. One day, Persephone was taking flowers alone when she saw an unusual bush of wax and berries like drops of blood. I don't think
Now, I think we can agree that that's not great. It's just missing a lot of character for one. And a lot of the choices that they made maybe weren't perfect. So here's what we can do. We can go down here to what we are seeing. And actually, I'm going to edit this text right away. I'm going to say by Miss Simpson, because I want to actually put a picture of myself in here and credit myself as the person who is writing the story. So I am going to, first of all, decide if I like what they have chosen. So they have the most romantic story. And when romantic story is said, that it brings up this picture of like a story. And I kind of feel like that should be better, could be better. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to come over here and it's showing me some illustrations that I can use of stories, I think is what they're picking out. But I'm going to type in romance. I'm wondering if I can get a heart or something. Okay, this is what I would rather have. So when they say the most romantic story, I would rather this big heart pop up. Now it says in all of Greek mythology, but I actually don't think that I want that picture. So I'm going to just delete it. I don't think I want them to have anything when it says Greek mythology. Now, Hades and Persephone, I actually do want to have a picture there. I think I want them to, when they say Persephone, I want a picture to pop up. But you know what? That is obviously not a good picture. I want something that's going to represent the story of Hades and Persephone. So I'm going to go over here to Google and see if I can find one. Hades and Persephone. So I'll just type that in very simply and see if, this is the one that I thought I would find. So I'm going to go ahead and save this picture. Got to be careful, by the way, when you're looking at Greek mythology pictures. Sometimes they can be a little scandalous. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one and save it to my desktop. And now I should be able to upload a picture. So I'm going to go and fetch that picture that I found of Hades and Persephone. And I will put this one in. I want that heart to be on top though. So let's see if I can make it do that. Wonder if I can make that happen. Well, maybe not, but that's okay. I don't mind. It's not that big a deal. So I'm going to have Hades and Persephone pop up here in the center. And then I do want the by Miss Simpson to pop up. So I'm actually going to go ahead and I have an idea for this. I have kind of a picture that I often use. So I'm going to upload again. And this time I'm going to go to grab for me a picture of myself and put that one in here. Here it is. See, by Miss Simpson. And so my picture will now pop up when it says the title of this story. So there you have it. I think that's going to be good. Of course, when I watch it, I'll maybe make some different changes. But for now, I feel like that's pretty good. Now, you can also add text, by the way, if you want to add some words. So for example, if I wanted to say, by Miss Simpson, whoops, I don't want to do that though. So do you see how I accidentally deleted this? I can go back to my uploads and my picture should still be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this back in since I made a mistake. So what I'm demonstrating for you all right here is that I have made an error, haven't I? It's not wanting to work for me. So what can I do? I wonder if it will let me edit my text. If I fiddle with it a little bit. I'm going to try to play the video and take a look at that first slide and see if that will kind of let me preview it. Well, it's still not wanting to let me do any changes. So I think I'm going to go ahead and risk refreshing the page to see if that will solve the problem that I'm having. Okay, good. It kept most of my changes. Just needed to add back Miss Simpson. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead to the next slide. So in this slide, it's got once upon a time, and I actually think that's okay. I don't mind this once upon a time. There was a goddess named Demeter. Now, I don't like this Demeter. So I'm going to see if I can get, if I type in goddess, maybe they'll give me a better picture. Looks like no. Let's see, what if I do mythology? I'm going to try out some keywords. Not seeing. How about it down here? Not seeing characters that I like. So I think that means that I'm going to be able to go and find a picture of Demeter for myself because I want a good picture of Demeter. Here's the one that I used before. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that one, save it to my desktop again, and then I'll be able to add her in here by uploading her picture, and then I'll have it from then on out, and I can use it in some other places as well. Anytime that I use her name, I will now be able to see her. So I think that I am going to put her in the center because she's kind of the most important part of this slide. So it's going to say, once upon a time, there was a goddess named Demeter, and then she will pop up. And Demeter was a goddess of the harvest. I like that harvest one. I think that one's good. And she had a beautiful daughter. Let's see if I can get another one for daughter. I don't know if I like that one. I wanted to go for illustrations. So daughter. What if I did child? Here we go. I don't think I like that one either. Let's try baby. Here we go. She had a beautiful daughter. I'm going to go ahead and pick that. You know what I did? It's because I had that one highlighted instead of what I should have had. I'll just choose this for harvest. And then I need to click on daughter over here. And then I'll be able to go back to that baby. She had a beautiful daughter named Persephone. And I do want to pick a good picture for Persephone. So let's see if I can get me a good Persephone. Here we go. I'll pick this one. Actually, I would probably go and select that other picture, but it'll work for this. So I'll upload and bam, I'll grab this picture of Persephone. And what will probably happen is that now I will be able to see that on all the other slides. So there we go. I think that's good. So it goes one day, and I think that that's fine. I like that one day. Persephone was painting flowers, and I kind of want the flowers to be there. So if I click on flowers, it'll give me some options. And so one day she was picking some flowers when she saw an unusual bush. And I want that bush to be bigger since that's an important part of the story. So I'll put this flower up by the one day, and then I'll have this bush kind of be in the middle. There we go. I like that. With waxy leaves. Now I don't actually like that picture, so I'm going to take that out. And then it said berries like drops of blood. I actually like that. So I'm going to put this bush right here in the center. And then I'm going to have those berries and that blood remain part of the story. You know, I'm not sure if I like that one day. I think I'm going to just keep the flowers and put it over here to the side. There you go. I think I like that better. So you'll see on this page, I don't really feel like I need to upload anything. I think all of the choices that they made were pretty good ones. And so I'm going to keep their choices and just kind of manipulate them and move them around a little bit. And then so on and so forth. I'm not actually going to do the rest because I think you all get the idea. But we are going to take a look at what these new changes look like, and then I'll show you the final part of the process. And you can see that that's how it would go on. I mean, you could obviously tell that that's an improvement on what we had before. So once I've done it all, once I've got it exactly the way I want it and I'm feeling really good, I'm going to come down here to the bottom and I'm going to click finalize. Finalize is just kind of like your final step where you just take a look and make sure that you like it. You can try out different slides. There are some choices you can make, but not many because we're using the free version, but feel free to play around with it a little bit. And then you click finalize video when you are done. You're going to make it public and have standard definition, of course, and hit OK. And then it will save it to the gallery and I will be able to see it and we will be able to watch it. So I'm going to go ahead and let that finalize because you don't need to watch that. You've already kind of seen how this is going to go. And that means that your next step is to pick one of the mythologies that I am allowing you all to choose. You're going to go to My Simple Show and log in. You will write your story, and then you're going to have as much time as you'd like to play around with the visuals and make them as cool as you'd like them to be. They can be simple and mostly rely on images from My Simple Show, but I would like to see you include some creative elements. Either that might mean moving around some of the pictures that they provide for you, making them bigger or smaller, choosing images that are appropriate for the word that you have chosen. So for example, if it's talking about a knight and your story is about like the nighttime and it's actually a picture of a guy in armor, I'm going to assume that you didn't put enough effort into your visualization. So at the very, very least, you need to make sure that it makes sense, the story and the images that you are telling. Okay. And then when you're done, just finalize it and it has been submitted. I will know that is yours as long as, and this is so important, guys, make sure your name is part of the title. I want it to be Arachne by your name, first and last, okay? And that is going to allow me to grade it. And it's also going to allow us to easily find it when we're presenting it in your class, okay? All right, now, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, but mostly this is one of those things that you just kind of have to play with it and figure out how it works. And I am really looking forward to seeing your presentations the next time that we have class, okay? All right, so I'm gonna let you all go to get to work, and I will see you all very soon.